if you break that ordinance. If you're not home and the dog has to come into the shelter, there are other fees involved. So it's going to cost you probably a couple $100 to get your dog and bring it back home. I like the money form of education very much, because for the most stubborn individuals, when you start taking money out of their bank accounts because of the violations, the people who really love their money, they will turn about real quick, because they're not about giving any more money. They're already paying your taxes. They're already paying your salary. They don't want to give you anything else.
So, okay, so let's go back. Hold on. I'll address the citation. And I write little notes on my cards for you guys who can't see me. Don't worry, the TV show coming. Where I will have, if my guest wants to be seen, or an avatar, but I'll be on TV and I answer questions like that. That's coming. But we're talking to Q right now, Quentin Johnson from Aurora. And the one thing I really appreciate you saying, techie, and this is new school versus old school. And I like how you adapt this, okay? Techie, QR code. If you have any information and it's to me that you have a QR code, that is an abundance of like a rapport that you don't even have to speak upon. You say, hey, you got a camera? You have you have a smartphone? It's like, of course. Here's QR code, hit this. They have everything. They have all the stuff like that. That is awesome. And I believe in evolution. I believe in, making stuff smarter, not harder. AKA Mr. B, keep it simple, stupid. I like educating the public because that's one of our duties we need to do. Educate the public in case they don't know. They might move to the state. They have no idea. Okay? They move, but now don't get it twisted. And that's for all my viewers and everything like that. If you don't know the law, and you go to court, it doesn't make a difference. What did it say, Q? No. What's the saying again? What's the saying?
Ignorance of the law. It has something to do with the ignorance of the law. It's no defense.
It's right. No, it's no defense or no excuse. So if you don't know, you still fucked up. Okay, because you should have known. You should have known. Okay, and the thing is, it's up to you as the individual and the property, aka homeowner, aka dog owner, to know the law. You're like, well, I just moved here. That's on you. And I get it. That's why we come out there. Hey, if you didn't know, then we explain it to you. And don't get me wrong. It's your job to know. But a lot of people don't know. And how you say it, we would say, okay. Let me holler at you. And I love how you said the cue card as far as on auditory. So the thing is, a lot of people would listen. They can hear listening. And like I'm a teacher. I'm an instructor. Older individuals, over 25, is more visual than anything. Younger, it's auditory. It's all auditory and it's muscle memory. And this is why most of your kids, for us that's old, most of your kids can do anything on a computer like that because they learn by seeing, they learn by hearing. A little bit vastly better than us. They're like, oh, this is a smartphone. They know how to work a smartphone better than us. They know how to work a computer better than us. And we're like, well, how do you do that? They 5, 6, and 7-year-old. So it's a different type of learning. And the thing is, I think, and I love that you broached the topic of communication. You hit it out the park. How do you communicate to this person to get the results that you want? I digress. Go ahead.
Now, when I animal out of the van, I'm returning to the owner. And then that person, the first thing they do is start yelling at the animal or, raising a belt, a slipper, something like that, or, a hand to the back end of the dog. Oh, that's when we have a different type of conversation.
Right.
The whole concept of smacking an animal or smacking a child and everything like that. People, you talk about evolution, where, well, we have a greater understanding of animals and people than our parents did and their parents did. Now, if you're going to go smacking an animal in front of me, I'm not going to hand you the leash then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to retain that animal and say, sir, do you realize that I could consider that animal cruelty and we could take you to court for that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Now, if they do that, it's like, okay, then we can have an educational discussion about what they just did
mm-hmm.
and which ordinance they were breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or, well, this is a big old pit bull. Oh, I mean, a slap on the butt isn't going to hurt the pit bull. But if you see the animal start to cringe before they even make contact, then you know that there's something more than that going on there. And there's probably some verbal abuse and things of that going on as well. We have learned that. We've learned how animals react to humans and their cruelty and things of that nature. So if you're going to go down that road, we're going to have a serious discussion. And if you become really serious, I'm pushing the button on my walkie-talkie, because that's going to bring 2 or 3 squads over to where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have an even more serious discussion about whether we're actually going to charge you with something because you're interfering with an investigation here. So I like to ratchet up. I like to take it up slow, but I can go from 0 to 100 real quick if that person presents themselves in a manner that is confrontational or contrary to what law enforcement wants out of that individual.
I like who you come in. And again, we're talking about Quentin Johnson over here from Aurora. He's blessed us with some time of his expertise. He's been doing this damn near 28, 29, almost 30 years doing this. I'm a Sith Lord, and I say that, because for y'all who know Star Wars, I'm Lord Vader. And I had the nickname because I used to lash out and throw a lot of tickets and arrest a lot of people. So help me. I'm way softer than I ever was. Quentin, I'm so laid back now that some of my old school people who see me, like, they don't even recognize me because I'm not that guy anymore. And think of it, over years, to me, you should settle down, calm down, and hit your stride. My stride right now is an educator. I believe,
correct.
You know what I'm saying? I will educate you to death. And my mantra, I will always educate you, investigate you, and I will eliminate you. Now, eliminate means, A, how can I make sure I don't have to come back? What can we do to make sure I come back? Blah, 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 blah. Now, back in the day, it's a wrap. I come out there, thou shalt. You say no, thou shalt. And thou shalt means shit will happen. And because, again, being under the police and everything, I'll ask you, I'll tell you, I'll ask you, tell you, and make you. I have limited authority where I am now. So I can't do none of that stuff. So I had to learn the art of diplomacy and actually talking and say, okay, and not making threats, being reasonable. And this has been hard. This has been a little fucking hard for me, Q. This has been hard because I'm like, okay. So I'm not used to people flexing on me. Okay, what flex mean is you pump out your chest and you want to talk to me in some type of way. Officer Hurst, there's two people in the building. It's Kevin Hurst and it's Officer Hurst. There's a big difference between Kevin Hurst and Officer Hurst. Officer Hurst, uniform, I wish a motherfucker would. Kevin Hurst like this, I want to go home at night. And I'm like, okay, how do we deal upon this and make sure they understand that, like you said, you push the button and it's going to be a deeper discussion. What do you do before you push the button? What do you do? How do you convince this person to make you not push the button? Go ahead, Q.
Well, I was taught by a very wise mentor. He always said, be careful what you might throw out there as a consequence, because somebody's going to call your bluff. Okay. So
I like that.
You know, don't say anything specific if you actually know you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because there are people who will call your bluff. There are people there who are well versed in the Constitution and their rights, this, that, the other thing. I think a lot more than, back when we first started.
Right.
So it's very important. Now, there have been times where I've had, for instance, a dog bite situation, and it gets very heated. And if you get two people who are hotheads, one is the owner and one is the victim, that's a recipe for disaster right there.
Mm-hmm.
I had one instance where both of these people were just going at each other, okay? I got there were no police there, but they were just yelling and screaming. It hadn't become physical yet, but, the threats were becoming real from both sides. This is probably one of the 2 times I have yelled the phrase, "shut up," at the top of my lungs. And this is a big housing authority area. So there were lots of people outside. It was summertime, and it got quiet. And I said, if we continue down this road, I'm just here to take a report.
Mm-hmm.
If we continue down this road, I press the button, the police come, and somebody's going to jail for domestic disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go to your house, I'll go talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
to you, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll work out.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out. I didn't have to press the button. Now, when somebody comes at me, and then after I've just given a ticket, I had one guy who said he was going to kick my ass. Well, that's a button-pushing opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was able to get down the stairs faster than he was. I was able to get in my vehicle, and I was able to get around the corner, and then I was able to get on the radio to tell them what was going on, who this involved, etc. In the long run, he got something on his record for threatening a public official.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it also became a hot spot for the police because they'd never had a run-in with this guy before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now they know this guy has a temper. They know this guy didn't back down from a threat to
Mm-hmm.
a public official.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once we go down that road, all bets are off. Now, luckily, he didn't lay hands on me.
Mm-hmm.
But then that became a point of my own education afterwards. If I wasn't fast enough to get away from this individual, what would I do? And another time we can talk about how that led me down the journey of taking my family into the martial arts.
The one thing I loved about what you were saying is, hey, you was faced with some type of issue where you're like, okay, let me back out of here and retreat to a safe area, which is the vehicle, and try to drive away from a hostile situation, if you're able to. And for all my do-dads who still do animal control officers, humane law enforcement, animal crews, stuff like that. And the thing is like this: we are faced with a plethora of confrontations 24/7. And I don't think the public understands what goes on when an animal control officer, because they're in uniform 99% of the time. And that's a threat sometimes to whomever it might be. And, Q, I love how you say, hey, I was able to what? Get down the steps. I was able to what? Get to your car. I was able to what? Drive away and cough it back up. And then you say, okay, what happens if you can't? Now that might be another conversation for another day. We'll talk about that. Q, Quentin, I tell you this. I'm a large guy. When I wear past tense, when I have my vest on and have all my stuff on like that, I'm Lord Vader. And I used to wear a body cam 99% of the time because it helps me. I don't really care about you, but it helps me defend what you. And I don't want to say everybody's going to lie. They do. But when they say, he